According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor, roughly 20% of small businesses collapse within their very first year. By the fifth year, nearly 50% vanish entirely. And after a decade, a mere 35% are still standing. When people see these devastating numbers, they immediately assume the owners weren't smart enough, or didn't grind hard enough, or simply ran out of money. But in reality, it is rarely a lack of skill, passion, or funding that kills a dream. The actual culprit is a dangerous misunderstanding of what a business actually is. Consider a woman named Lisa. Lisa possessed a remarkable talent for making handcrafted, artisanal soaps. Her home always smelled like a luxury spa, and her friends couldn't get enough of her products. Eventually, everyone kept telling her that she should start a business. So she did. She opened a cute boutique downtown, and during the first few weeks, the excitement was real. But 6 months later, Lisa was drowning. Sales data was a total mess. Employees were constantly quitting, and she hadn't taken a single day off in weeks. Worst of all, the very craft she once loved began to feel like a prison. She started hating soap. This is the exact trap explored in Michael Gerber's classic book, The E-Myth Revisited. The E-Myth stands for the entrepreneurial myth. It is the deeply flawed assumption that just because you're highly skilled at a specific technical craft, you automatically know how to run a commercial enterprise centered around that craft. The truth is, executing a specific task and building an organization that handles that task are two completely separate professions. When Lisa launched her shop, she stopped being just a soap maker. Suddenly, her days were consumed by inventory logistics, customer complaints, marketing, payroll, and tax compliance, none of which had anything to do with making soap in her kitchen. If you currently operate a business and find yourself buried under an endless mountain of tasks you never actually wanted to do, this explanation will help you fix it. To understand why this happens, you have to look at the three distinct personalities fighting for control inside every business owner's head. First, there's the entrepreneur. This is the visionary and the strategic dreamer who stays up late imagining future expansion and massive long-term goals. Second, there's the manager. This is the organizer who thrives on order, builds spreadsheets, handles scheduling, and desperately tries to clean up the logistical messes left behind by the visionary. Third, there is the technician. This is the tactical doer who actually builds the product or delivers the service, the one baking the pastries, writing the code, or crafting the soap. The vast majority of small businesses are started by technicians. You get tired of working for someone else and assume that doing the work for yourself equals freedom. But when you strike out on your own, you don't drop the technician role. You simply stack the managerial and entrepreneurial responsibilities directly on top of it. Juggling three conflicting identities at the exact same time is the ultimate recipe for burnout. If you fail to intentionally dedicate time to the entrepreneur role, you haven't actually built a business. You have simply built an exhausting, demanding job where you happen to be the boss. Until these three roles operate in harmony, an enterprise will simply spin its wheels while the owner burns out. To fix this, it helps to view a business as a living entity that evolves through distinct developmental stages. The first stage is infancy. In this phase, you are the business. You handle every single email, fulfill every order, and manage every tiny administrative detail. While being in total control feels empowering at first, it rapidly becomes unsustainable. You quickly find yourself working grueling 14-hour days, knowing that the moment you step away, the entire operation collapses. Inevitably, exhaustion forces you to seek help, pushing you into the adolescence phase. This stage introduces a whole new layer of complexity. You now have a team member on payroll, but because you haven't defined clear workflows, you end up micromanaging their every move, convinced that no one could do the job quite as perfectly as you can. You have delegated tasks, but you haven't actually let go of the psychological responsibility. This is the precise wall where most enterprises either stagnate permanently or fall apart. Escaping this trap requires transitioning into maturity, which is defined by the creation of repeatable systems. Consider a global giant like McDonald's. They didn't build a multi-billion-dollar empire by having the absolute finest gourmet burgers on earth. They scaled globally because they engineered a foolproof system. A teenager with zero culinary training can walk into any location, follow a standardized sequence, and deliver an identical product every single time. A mature business relies entirely on predictable processes rather than individual superstars. Relying purely on personal hustle is not a viable long-term business strategy. If an enterprise requires your non-stop physical presence and constant exhaustion to survive, you do not own a company. You simply own a demanding job. True leverage comes from designing your operation as if you intend to franchise it, even if you never actually do. Every single component, from onboarding and training to inventory management and customer acquisition, must be systematized to run like clockwork without relying on a single indispensable person. If the departure of one key employee can cause your entire operation to crash, you have a structural dependency, not a business. Systems are the standardized recipes that guarantee consistent outcomes every single time, shifting the focus away from how you could do a task better toward how a process can function seamlessly without you. Transforming your daily operations into a self-sustaining asset requires a structured, step-by-step blueprint. The first step is establishing an entrepreneurial vision, which means clearly defining your ultimate long-term goals and organizational destination before you begin driving. The second step is organizing for success, which involves mapping out a clear organizational structure, defining specific roles, and establishing distinct workflows long before you actually hire an elite team. The third step is building systems, which is the process of documenting detailed, step-by-step playbooks for your daily operations, ensuring that any capable person can follow the instructions and achieve the exact same high-quality result. The fourth step is staffing smart, which means recruiting the right talent, training them thoroughly, and empowering them with the authority to run the systems you built. The fifth step is marketing with meaning, which shifts your focus toward building a reliable, predictable engine that continuously attracts your ideal clientele through authentic connection rather than shouting into the void. The sixth step is financial mastery, which requires a crystal clear understanding of your numbers, tracking your margins, cash flow, and knowing exactly whether you are winning or losing. The seventh and final step is continuous improvement, which is dedicated to constant refinement, regular optimization, and strategic innovation to keep your business ahead of the curve as the market evolves. When you systematically implement these steps, your business transitions from a chaotic, exhausting job into a highly efficient vehicle that serves your life. The core message of the E-Myth Revisited is clear. Stop working in your business and start working on it. If this video gave you a new perspective on freedom, do yourself a huge favor and take action today. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more animated insights, and we'll see you in the next video. To make this process as seamless as possible, you should aim to automate your financial life. Human willpower is highly unreliable. If you have to manually decide to save and invest money every single month, you will eventually make an excuse to spend it. Set up automatic transfers so that the moment your income hits your bank account, a portion is instantly moved to your savings and investment accounts. This is a concept known as paying yourself first. By automating this habit, you ensure that your financial goals are met before you even have a chance to look at your disposable income. Remember that managing your personal finances is not a sprint. It is a lifelong marathon. You do not need to understand complex economic theories or master advanced trading strategies to be successful. The most important step you can take right now is simply to get started with whatever amount you have available. A single step taken in the right direction today is infinitely better than a perfect plan that you procrastinate on forever. Take that $1,000, build your shield, buy your assets, invest in your mind, and watch your financial future completely transform.